What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Coach Black, your internet's relationship and breakup coach. Today's topic: what if your ex moves on quickly and starts dating someone new while you're in no contact? If you're going through this currently, it is going to be one of the most emotionally painful things you've ever dealt with. You see, naturally, as human beings, you're going to tend to internalize situations like this because the first thing that's going to come to your mind is, why wasn't I good enough? What is this person potentially doing for them that I didn't do or that I was unwilling to do? And in some cases, because your ex moves on super fast, it makes you start to question if the relationship actually meant anything to them. All of the promises, all of the trips, all of the gifts that you bought each other, all of the I love yous, how could they have felt all of those things a month ago? In some cases, a couple weeks ago. And now they are saying and doing the same things with someone new. And what's even extremely more hurtful, I've coached people where they're telling me the story and their ex is now doing things with the new person that they never did with you. Maybe even things that you asked for. So again, there is no amount of emotional stability that will allow you to just process that a lot of times without feeling personally hurt, without feeling like this has everything to do with you. But I need to assure you, this has nothing to do with you. This is all about your ex, as hurtful as that may be. Before we get into your ex, why they're doing this, what they're feeling, and what you can potentially do to turn things around, I want to tell you a quick story. Now, have you ever heard the mythology of Faust? See, the story of Faust goes something like this, okay? So I might not get it verbatim, but I'm not really good with folklore. Anyway, Faust was a scientist or some intelligent person in like the 14th or 15th century. And Faust was, highly accomplished, driven, and, he had done a lot of things. And so as he was getting older, he got to a point where he started to feel there was no point to life. He was probably smarter than most of the people around him. He had read all the books. He was extremely learned. And he was like, what is there to live for? And so while he was contemplating ending his story, and he's crying out to the heavens, well, an angel appears, the devil, and offers him a deal. And it says, hey, I'm going to offer you great wealth, success, will actually make you younger, super attractive, and give you the woman of your dreams. If you only accept this offer for your soul or an eternity in damnation in hell. And of course, Faust, being a greedy human, accepted the deal with the devil. And so in stories like this, as a reader, you already kind of know how the story is going to end. But what makes it interesting and why you pay attention is because you're watching the tragedy unfold. This is where the term Fyan Bargain comes from, if you ever heard that term. And so I want you to think about a rebound relationship as extremely similar. See, your ex is tempted and drawn by the new shiny object. The grass always appears to be greener. Now, in some cases, your ex may have monkey branch, meaning they were already cheating and lining up this new person while they were with you. But sometimes it's not that they have an actual person, they just have a fantasy in their head that they've created, where being away from you and being in this new world of freedom, they would have access to, again, all of the things of their dream. So in some ways, it's not an intentional choice that your ex is making to hurt you. It's all about the fantasy. This is why I say it has nothing to do with you, regardless of how personal it comes across. See, sometimes the new shiny person is totally different. They are opposite from you. So it feels like your ex intentionally selected someone different to hurt you. Because how could you have been the person of their dreams if they so easily fall for someone new who is totally different? But just like the story of Faust, these types of situations always tend to end in tragedy. And the reason for this, and by the way, before we get into the reasons, please, if you're enjoying this video or if you're getting some kind of value out of it, please do me a favor, hit the like button. It really does mean a lot and it helps the channel out. I appreciate you for doing so. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the future videos that I put out. So the reason why a story like this, especially from a relationship perspective, ends in tragedy, because your ex is still the same person. See, there was a saying I heard not too long ago, which was, you only meet yourself at the party. Right? A lot of times you go to a party to dance and socialize and meet other people. But again, your experience is going to be highly curated based on how you're showing up. Right? How people treat you is always going to be a reflection of what you're putting out. And so if your ex has spent zero time working on themselves, looking at what happened in the relationship, why you both are potentially incompatible, was there even conversation about therapy and working through things? If they just skipped and bypassed all of those steps, again, they're going to show up to the new relationship exactly the same way they are. And the only difference is now you're not the person they get to blame. And this is the second reason why relationships like these fail. Because if your ex is someone who is used to not taking accountability, who is chasing high after high after high, when they get into the new rebound while you're in no contact working on yourself, guess who they're going to blame as soon as things start to not work out? They're going to blame the new person. So all of a sudden, this new person that was the shiny object now becomes the villain. Because first they will start to compare them to you. If you had a loving, long-lasting relationship, you already put in a certain amount of time, a certain amount of years. You've done favors. You've done a lot of things for them. And so now this new person is actually being judged a lot harsher than you were if you've been in no contact and you left them alone and you gave them the breakup. They're being judged harsher because now your ex is comparing them to the best times how you showed up for them in the relationship. So most times this new person is not going to be able to live up to that. So it hurts the relationship. It hurts your ex's perspective of them. And this is when that relationship starts to fail and disintegrate. The last reason why relationships like this never work. The last reason is that because your ex, left you high and dry, because they assumed that the grass was going to be greener, and also because they felt like you will always be an option, you would always be there, a part of their heart, a part of their soul is still going to be attached to you because they're always thinking, did I make the right decision? All right. Again, they never took any time to heal and process. And if you did no contact perfectly and you've left them alone, they're always going to be thinking, what if I made a mistake? Now they're starting to worry about you potentially moving on from them. Right? So it's almost like they have unfinished business here, right? Because a piece of their heart, or at least a piece of their attention, is on you because you're not focused on them. That's a better way to put it. A piece of their attention, a piece of their energy is focused on you when you're giving them nothing. So it's very important to understand this is what's happening. It's not your fault. You're not the villain. And again, the reason it's so easy for your ex to do this is because they had been planning this long before they broke up with you. So they had more time emotionally to prepare to lose the relationship because they had been thinking, do I want to stay? Do I want to go? And I've talked about this in some other videos. A breakup is never 100% a certain decision. Like, I'm definitely done forever. I'm never coming back, even if your ex says that. Okay, so because of that little bit of back and forth, your ex had more time to process and think about doing this. And whenever they became a little more sure, 60%, 70%, they pulled the trigger. Okay, so this is why this happens. It's not your fault. Now, what can you do about this? Kind of like the story of Faust. It's better that you watch the tragedy unfold. I know that sounds harsh. I know that sounds maybe even cold, right? Or calculated. But some experiences are better learned through going through them, okay? So you have to allow the tragedy unfold. And when your ex gets to the phase where they're comparing and wondering about you, they will naturally start reaching out. And we've talked about what to do when they reach out, so I'm not going to focus on that here. But I want to leave you with this in closing, something for you to think about. Just like your ex made the deal with the devil for the shiny object, I don't want you to make the same mistake. Because right now, in no contact, if you're only focused on getting your ex back, right, you might be willing to overlook some of the issues that were actually going on in the relationship. You might be willing to overlook some potential character issues that caused this breakup because you're focused on your ex. Now, if your ex is a good person and this was just a mistake, yes, you will slowly get back together and work on fixing things. But I just want you to think about it from the same perspective. Are you so focused on your ex that you're willing to ignore the negatives? If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, please drop them down in the comment section below. If you want to talk to me about your situation, click the first link in the description and I'll be happy to talk to you. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.